Hello. Uh, Today's Mark Talks Mags is from August the 6th, 1988, and it's from Sounds. And on the cover here we have the great man Joe Strummer, a man at war. We've also got Pixies and That Petrol Emotion UK tour dates. We've got Winner Van Halen triple record pack. And various other mentions of bands that are touring and releasing. So let's have a look. On the news pages, we've got Pixies invade the UK. Following their recent successful British mini tour, Pixies return in September for more shows, preceded by a 4-track single. And that single is gigantic. Also, we've got Michelle Shocked releases her second album. Triffids are on tour. What a great band the Triffids were. And you can probably hear Gemma's dog, Dunstan, barking in the background. He's probably seen a hoverfly or such like. Anyway, we'll push on. On page 3, Big Country. Now, Big Country is a strange one, weren't they? Because Big Country were... The first album was great. After the Skids split up and Stu Adamson went on and formed Big Country, that's a great album, The Crossing. And the second album wasn't too bad, but by this time they'd gone a bit big-haired and satin shirts and I don't know. They just I think commerciality got the best of them really. But in their time, they were a really good band. The Smiths' live album is now set for release on Rough Trade. They had split up, of course, by this point. And Johnny Marr said, rumours of them getting back together, it's getting as bad as the Is Elvis Still Alive stories. That Petrol Emotion to release new LP and set off on a world tour. Another great band, particularly live. If any of you were lucky enough to see them live, wow, they were brilliant, absolutely great. The remnants of the Undertones, of course, the O'Neill brothers, Ray Gorman on guitar, and a great frontman, a really brilliant frontman, no doubt about that. Nico, funeral in Berlin. Nico had just died, ex-Velvet singer to be cremated with British remembrance service. What a sad event that was. Knocked off a bicycle on the island of Ibiza, as far as I remember, and had a brain hemorrhage. Very, very sad. She led a life though, did she not? What else have we got there? The Primitives play an intimate one-off pub gig. This was before the Primitives hit big. The Hothouse Flowers, Soup Dragons. News. Record news. Oh, new records out by the likes of Cyndi Lauper. The Beatniks, great band, alternative tentacles band. The 5-piece band who take the best from The Last Poets, Bad Brains, Early Devo and Test Department and add their own energy. And that's not a bad little description, to be fair. Oh, and the Banks are still advertised in the music papers, even in 1988. Tour news. Who's touring? Benny Profane, good band. Diesel Park West. Virus and Acid Rain headline the second Monster Mash at Birmingham Moseley Road Dance Centre. Wonder if that was Virus, who were the early 80s Wolverhampton, let's call them crusty punk band. This is 1988, I'm not sure if they were still going. My friend Dave would know. Goodbye Mr Mackenzie get out and about. They were an interesting lot, weren't they? This was Shirley Manson, who went on to worldwide fame with Garbage, and Big John, who was the ex-guitarist in The Exploited. And so they were a halfway house between The Exploited and Garbage. Very most strange. New album from Iron Maiden. Genesis P. Orridge in tabloid scandal. Who'd have thought, eh? The dear old Genesis was causing scandal. Sadly just departed. Recreation, little piece about Alan McGee. 10 things you didn't really need to know about creation. Lawrence of Felt has recently shaved his head. Upside Down by the Jesus and Mary Chain is the biggest selling creation record with over 40,000 copies. Bobby Gillespie of Primal Screen is Alan McGee's best friend. Momus, aka Nick Curry, is the cousin of Justin, who is in Delamitri, and his father is a famous fly fishing author. Momus, Nick Curry, I don't know, do we call him a national treasure? I don't know. He's ploughed this underground furrow for 30 years, and some of his stuff is unbelievably good. Amongst a lot of crap, mind, but some of his stuff is incredible. Worth a little look at Momus if you've never come across him. And there's an article about Momus. By disregarding taste and decency, Momus has become a true libertarian. Sam King meets the tender pervert. I'd like to have a little read of that, but let's just say there's a quote in heavy type here, and I think it probably strikes a chord with all of us today. This is quote Nick Curry. I think it's wonderful that Morrissey is being grilled by the Manchester police, ... especially if they tortured him. Sounds about right, doesn't it? Psychedelic Furs, the best of. There's the crossword, which I haven't done any of. But let's have a look at one random clue. Where Bruce Willis was in relation to the boardwalk. Under. 1 and 10 down, 3 and 5. He beat it for Peaches and his strange little girl. Well, that was the Stranglers. He beat it. Jet Black. He beat it. Of course. The Wild Swans, Bible Dreams. That was a single from the utterly sublime album, Bringing Home the Ashes. Now, the Wild Swans, for those who don't know, you've got Echo and the Bunnymen, you've got The Teardrop Explodes, you've got Pete Wiley with his various wahs, wah heat, etc., etc., and then you've got Paul Simpson with the Wild Swans, and they were all Bristol legends. They'd all been in bands together over the years before these various bands formed. They were all regulars at Eric's Club, and the Wild Swans, in my eyes, controversial it may be, but they were the best. Just great. Wild Swans, check them out. Working with Fire and Steel, DAF. Oh, that's rather poignant, isn't it? I think it was just last week, wasn't it? I'm sure it's just last week, or maybe the week before. Gabby Delgado died. So that'll be interesting to read. Discography, albums, etc., etc. DAF, important band. Your Money or Your Life. This is Joe Strummer, and this is for over a month. Joe Strummer has blazed a trail of passionate, powerful politico rock across the UK with his Latino Rockabilly War, and that was the name of his band at the time. Post Clash, pre-Mescaleros, and they were great. I don't know if any of you saw them. I'm sure a few of my friends back in Cleveland did, and probably a lot of my friends up here in Norfolk did too. But they were great. One member being Xander Slosh, American fella who had been in the Circle Jerks, been in the Weirdos, and is still producing stuff now. Yeah, Latino Rockabilly War, good stuff, Joe. And that again would have been a very interesting article to go further into. Let's just grab a little quote from the great Joe. I read some band called the Railway Children reviewing the singles. They had Trash City, and they said, must have cost a fortune to get that cheap sound. The cynics. I just thought, wow, people are really cynical. The Railway Children reviewing Joe Strummer, eh? What do they know? The Perfect Disaster advert. They're another band that should have been much bigger than they were. Got a couple of their albums, and they were a really great band. The Perfect Disaster. Middle page article about Welsh language rock, which of course has been about since time immemorial. Some great punk period, Welsh language punk. But this, unsurprisingly, is concentrating on I'm not going to try and say it properly, but Anne Hafren and a few other bands. But this is before the likes of Super Furries and Vera and Gorky Zygotic Minky brought it more to the mainstream. So it was still rather underground at the time. So there we go, Welsh language rock. Missed a page there, that's probably an important one. Oh, it is, singles. Singles, single of the week, Boys Wonder, Goodbye Jimmy Dean. A classic bit of indie pop, absolutely brilliant. Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie, Pop will eat itself, Defcon 1. How I Want to Love the Poppies. They seem so nice, but all they ever do is rehash other people's music. Yeah, it's called sampling, etc., isn't it? You can't knock the Poppies. Soup Dragons, before they went baggy. The Weather Prophets, most important band. And then we got the Pop with Tiffany and Brother Beyond. I can't honestly see one hit single mentioned here. I'll just double check that. I suppose the one that was likely to have troubled the charts most was maybe Defcon 1 by Populate Yourself, or Iron Maiden, The Evil That Men Do. Few a nice surprise to find that when ripped from the current album's excruciating context, this fiery little belter bursts into life with an intensity previously unheard. Really? I doubt it. Albums, Dwight Yoakam, good friend of Joe Strummer, who we mentioned earlier. Rankin Roger, X The Beat. Deacon Blue, there. Psychedelic Furs, best of. And then we've got TV shows. Bob Hoskins, An Unlikely Hero. And then live shows. Cambridge Folk Festival. And headlining were 10,000 Maniacs with Natalie Merchant fronted them, of course. Blimey, I didn't realise that they'd ever done that. Fabulous stuff. Prince at Wembley Arena. A House at Charing Cross Road, Astoria. Electro Hippies at Manchester Swinging Sporran. The Electro Hippies were basically a sort of thrash band, but not great. They were all right. So they came out of the anarcho-punk thing, sort of then went thrashy and then went not thrashy, so they couldn't really make their minds up really, but they were okay. Eat at Camden Dingwalls, Voice of the Beehive. The Go-Betweens at Charing Cross Road, Astoria. What a great band they were. So we've had early in this Mark Talks Mags the Triffids mentioned, and now we've got the Go-Betweens mentioned. Antipodean Pop is tops, it seems, in 1988. The live ads, advertising Reading Festival. Headlining Friday is Iggy Pop, headlining Saturday is Starship, headlining Sunday is Squeeze. I have to say that Friday knocks the shit out of the other nights or days. Iggy Pop, Ramones, The Godfathers, Ghost Dance, Wonder Stuff, The Sears, a great Bristol band. were bottom of the bill for the main stage, I guess. The other 2 days are not great. Susie and the Banshees. Donington Park, Iron Maiden, Kiss, David Lee Roth, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses near the bottom of the bill. And Halloween. A festival for a nuclear-free Scotland. Aswad, Aztec Camera, Deacon Blue, the Mighty Lemon Drops, Voice of the Beehives, the Soup Dragons, and the Bundu Boys, who were WOMAD staples at the time. The good old Bundu Boys. Night Shift is this week's gigs. And the charts. So, on August the 6th, 1988, number 1 was Nothing's Gonna Change My Love For You by Glenn Medeiros. Number 2 was Superfly Guy by S Express. Straight in at number 3 was The Locomotion by Kylie Minogue. Number 4 was The Only Way Is Up by Yaz and the Plastic Population, which I have a quite like of actually. Number 5 is I Want Your Love by Transvision Vamp. Let's look a little bit further down the charts. The Wonder Stuff will Wish Away at 43. Oh dear, not much good in here. Eighth Wonder, Cross My Heart. All About Eve, Voice of the Beehive. Heated Up, the Wee Papa Girl Rappers. And in the album charts, unsurprisingly, now that's what I call Music 12, is straight in at number 1. And number 2, the rival Hits album, The Hits album, Tape 8. Tracy Chapman, number 3, Kylie, number 4, and Bad by Michael Jackson at number 5. Having a little look further down, we've got bands like Voice of the Beehive again, Eurythmics, Hot House Flowers, Deacon Blue, T'Pow, Debbie Gibson, Freddie Jackson. Very, very poppy at this point in time, chart-wise, very poppy. Virtually nothing at all underground, troubling the top 50 in either singles or albums. That was the 80s for you, I guess. We've probably got an indie chart somewhere here. The Welsh top 10. Yeah, indie albums. Kylie, number 1. Well, of course, it was PWL, wasn't it? So it is indie, really. Substance by Joy Division at number 2. Erasure, number 3. Wedding Present, number 4. Erasure, number 5. Forget how big they were, really. Etc., etc. Indie singles was Superfly Guy by S Express, which is no surprise, seeing as how high it was in the normal charts. Pop Elite itself, The Time Lords, Erasure, New Order, Joy Division. Further down, we've got the likes of... God, Jesus, Erasure had about 7 or 8 songs in there. Fields of the Nephilim, Joy Division again, the Smiths again. Not a lot that was actually underground music. It's the indie labels in this chart are indie labels, but not producing what might have been called indie music. We've even got Creedence Clearwater Revival in there. Compact disc chart. Now there's the thing from the past. Tracy Chapman was number 1. Classified ads. Personal. Let's just find a little one from here. Rick, aka Dolph, Mac Lads fan, Saddleworth, seeks a Welsh girl with abundant supply of crisps. Sounds an interesting character, doesn't he? The Mac Lads, Welsh girls and crisps. Bored male lost in London, likes alternative and rock, loves travel, Amsterdam nighttime, wild bikes and Kit Kats. Wish to meet one special girl. Bloody hell, crisps and Kit Kats. Then we got the tech stuff, and what do we got on the back? It's the Henham International Music and Arts Festival, which is where? I've never even heard of that one. But anyway, Hot House Flowers, Tom Robinson, incantation. That was Misty in Roots, Bad Manners, etc., etc. Sounds excruciating. Okay, we'll see you next time.